Hello, everybody. My name is Amol Patel. I'm in Los Angeles. You're watching the Smoking Hot Coffee Show. This is cup number 16. We cover internet startup culture, marketing, monetization, design. I'm joined with,
Hey guys, I'm Jeff Pelton. I'm down here in San Diego.
and you can reach Jeff at Comster, and you can reach me at Amol_Patel. Jeff, here we are, cup 16, man.
Yep, it's a good number.
Yeah, we're cranking away. I'm really surprised at how fast the show has been growing in terms of views, and it's
Certainly has.
it's exciting. And with that, I'd like to quickly get into the analytics, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of staring at these analytics for the past couple days, watching the numbers go up. It's interesting to see how YouTube counts them and how the numbers are different on a couple different pages.
yes,
Takes them a couple days to update, but now that our numbers are starting to kind of be material, you can kind of see that them counting in action.
yeah. I have to say, we do find some surprises. Like for example, Cup 13 is our second most popular. Let's see if I can go to the dashboard. Show, and so I'm just curious as to why that is. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really
Now
kind
go
of
back to
random.
that previous. Go back to the previous page,
Okay.
the analytics, and if you scroll down, it has the top 10 videos, and our number two most viewed video is already Cup 13.
Yep.
Yeah, so we were trying to figure out. That was the first video we did this week. We
There we
recorded
go,
it
right
on
there.
Monday.
Yep.
We recorded it on Monday and released it Monday night. And I think we mentioned our UK viewers. We noticed were catching it right away, probably while we were sound asleep, and they had just noticed us post it. So
Maybe.
it's great to see, though, the newer episodes really gaining speed.
Yeah, so our most popular is still the first, and then the second most popular is something we busted out, a couple of days ago. So it's,
And that was a long episode, too.
so do you think length has any correlation to number of views, or how YouTube might be promoting it amongst the other videos?
Not sure. Still trying to figure
Yeah,
that
because
out.
YouTube's show algorithm, whatever algorithm you're using to promote or to show related videos, they may be taking into effect the length of the video. Maybe short
Yeah,
videos don't
could
get
be.
put in the related or whatever those columns are. So it's very interesting. We might have to do some
Yeah,
more
I
tests.
mean, if they're looking at engagement, that could be, a good factor for us.
Yeah,
If the length, if people are actually watching most of it. And
that
so
yeah
we're still actually having a discussion. We should let people know about how we should format the show.
yeah.
I think it's still working pretty well in the cup format, like once a day. But we have played with the idea of cutting it down into like per review or something like that. But
Right.
I don't know. I'm sort of dissuaded from that because I think we want to keep introducing more segments and variety, other stuff into the show than
Yeah.
just the reviews. So hopefully you guys like everything that we bring to the table and not just seeing like each individual chunk, but we are trying to make sure that it is easy to find the content, in everything we have, right? So we have play pages on our website coming, and everything will be indexed and sort of organized properly.
You know what? So since we're talking about sort of what's happening with the site, let me go into a little bit of the graphics and stuff. Obviously, this is my sort of temp, sort
Yeah, I
of
love this.
intro card, and I'm hoping to use this kind of symbolism and graphics for the rest of the show. And to that end, maybe we can even cover some of the sounds. So,
So yeah, so let me just lead into this. I bugged you right before we got into the show how excited I was for the show today, and I was getting my coffee going a little bit later than usual, and I really wanted something to kind of a bell to kind of kick off the show, some sound to be the intro to really to kick this off so that I know it's going.
right,
And so without skipping a beat, you immediately pulled up some software and.
Yeah.
And I said, "Wow, within a couple minutes, you started putting together some noises." And I
Yeah.
said, "We should show this on the show."
I completely
because I
agree.
think you guys might find this interesting. This is some software I would probably have never have found myself. I do love pulling up other, AutoCAD and Photoshop and 3D software in Maya and pulling up all these different amazing tools that our computers can do for us. But Amul here is. Seemed to got a hang of what can you tell us what program this is you
So,
have
so
open?
this is an awesome program. It's called Ableton Live. A lot of DJs use it. A lot of musicians, producers use this. It's first originated on the scene after, in fact, a PC software came out called Acid. By I
Okay.
forget the name of the company that made it, but it was amazing.
Acid
What you
loops,
can
right?
drop different loops into
Yeah.
these sort of grids, and it would synchronize all the loops, so you don't need to like pitch up, pitch down, and then tweak the format to make sure they sound good and all that, it would automatically do it behind the scenes, and it was incredible. It was revolutionary, and it opened the whole playing field to people that weren't very musical to start making music and start mashing things up. It was the ultimate audio mashup tool. And so then Ableton came along and they busted out this thing called Live, which took that sort of effect, but it brought it to the Apple masses, brought it to all the people that are on Apple on the Mac. I mean, I remember loading up I remember getting a fucking PC simply to run this fucking software. That's how incredible this thing was. And so when Ableton came out, it was awesome. Everybody jumped on board with that, and so it's pretty great. And it's very modular. You can drag and drop different modules and connect things. So I've got this little arcade riff, and I'm playing it at pitch 24 here. And I don't want to go into too many of the details, but I can change the rate slower. This is sort of like Pong, I can also EQ it. So this sounds a little bit, like a little old school arcade machine. Faster, really fast.
It's definitely what we're going for this show too. So this is great. I love the
totally
retro or the 8-bit.
Exactly,
sort of sounds.
Totally works with the 8-bit. This kind of version, I can totally see.
Perfect.
And a little animation. These guys coming in, maybe they're like flying around on a world or something, And then of course on top of that, I wanted to bring in some other sounds. So here's another sound.
Okay.
It's almost like a level,
Oh, I'm having flashbacks to Contra and some other.
It totally
Nintendo
works,
games,
right?
for sure.
It totally works in terms of moving around in a world or moving around in a level, right? And then of course, then the final thing that we should add to this is of course our voices. So then I went ahead and recorded our voices really quickly, and so that's us kind of layered on top of each other. I think I start off first, and then you kind of catch up because we're doing this over Skype, and when I say 3, you're hearing 3 a couple of milliseconds later, and so it's never really quite 3 for both of us.
I'll have to send you a MP3 or a wave.
But yeah. So the latency, in the industry they call it latency, and so the latency is a little off. So
latency kills. It's a thing in gaming too, actually.
Yeah, exactly. It's a thing in gaming as well. So
when you're trying to get a real time connection, it's the worst part. It's like the minimum. The longest it's going to take. Yeah.
Exactly. Just trying to get everybody on the same page at the same time. That latency tracks that. So here we are. And so that sounds pretty cool. And let's throw in our little beeps.
This is cool. I like this.
And now I thought it'd be kind of fun to take that voice and turn it into a robot. Of course, I like to turn everything into a robot. I love that. So there we go. That's the Faulkner sound from War Games from 1984.
Awesome.
It sounds very similar to that. I can see Matthew Broderick in our shot. And he's standing in front of the big machine with a bunch of lights.
The Whopper. Yep.
Yeah. And
love
so
that show.
It's fun. We could take the pitch down a little bit. So now let's go ahead and overlay that on top of our beeps. And then, of course, that little bang sound in the background. Now, I'm not sure exactly how to maybe bring in the voice when these guys come into frame or show them in this world or something like that, and we can animate it. But anyways, I don't want to get off track here. That's where I'm at.
Awesome.
With that, let's get back to the show.
Sure. Yeah. No. Thanks for doing that, though. Pulling that up real quick. I didn't think you'd be able to. I didn't even expect you to do that, and you just popped that app right open and threw something together. So, I think that'll help sort of add some pace to the show, at least kick off the beginning of it, and especially as we try to start doing a audio podcast format of the show as well. So, thank you for doing that, and it's going to be fun to evolve that, and hopefully people like seeing us produce it kind of in real time.
Now that you were thinking about it, maybe we can have these little triggered whenever we roll over these little arrows.
Yeah,
maybe when it slides, I could have the or some sort of animated sound or something. And we can maybe even have ratings like
when we put in the ratings. Yeah, when I type in my 10 words and hit enter, it could
yeah, some crazy noise.
Cool.
Anyways, but we're getting off track here. This is the fun. I mean, it is. This is fun. So,
All right,
all right,
cool. I'm going to start my timer for 30 minutes here, and we'll review some startups, I guess.
great. So first up is Brackets, open source editor for web design. Very cool, and it's made by Adobe, which Adobe, in my view, has sort of lost its way because everything's kind of moving very fast on with everything being developed in the browser. And so recently, though, I have to say Adobe's catching on. Their cloud, their Creative Cloud, is actually a big success. They've got 300,000 people on there paying, I don't know, $20 a month or $10 a month or some shit. So they definitely have that happening. With that, I would love for them to move out, especially for web design, away from packaged software to more browser-based software. So here we are with a code editor within the browser. So what I really liked most about this, Jeff, is that while I'm writing the HTML markup, it'll actually open up this little panel, so I can actually write the CSS without jumping to the top part of the page or jumping to another panel with only CSS. Literally, I could be writing the CSS in line, and that data gets basically encapsulated onto a separate panel or a separate page. So your thoughts on this?
Interesting. Yeah, I forget how I found this. I thought it's great that it's open source. I was surprised that it's from Adobe.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know how long this has been around?
It's been around for a little while, but I looked at it and I kind of ignored it, and it wasn't until I saw a couple of videos on it that I saw the workflow that I really got the idea that
Yeah, can you explain it to me more? Like, should we look at the try it? I see on the homepage they have a kind of carousel thing that says innovate, open, focused, and extensible.
Yeah.
It's nice to see the GitHub logo and the HTML5 logo, but
Right.
what does this look like?
So that's a good point. So I click on try it, and it says brackets is still in the oven and needs to bake a little longer before it's a full-fledged code editor. The milestyle builds are available in brackets.io. So let's see what happens when I click on that. Okay, so here I'm at the milestones version. I have to download it. Okay, so all right, so yeah,
So it's an OS X app?
it is an app. It is free for now. It does feel to be open. From what I recall in the video, you were literally as you can see in the screen here, you can see a color picker, and this color picker was literally on the code. So literally, it's almost like Inspector in a way. So we have all these sort of color tools and code sense and color, code painting, pigment. Right on the browser. It was in the browser. That's what I loved most about it. And the fact is that the preview was also in the browser. So literally, you're working in the browser, you're doing all the development in the browser, you're seeing what's the outputs of WebKit, the browser, and now that Opera has signed on and it's become WebKit.
Right. That was big news.
That was big news. This kind of shit is. I'm loving this. Even though I've had a fair amount of hate for Adobe for about a year or so. Maybe a couple of years, because the web has been speeding along and we're waiting for every yearly updates from Dreamweaver. It was too slow.
Yep.
We need these updates every 3 months.
Indeed.
The cycle. I'm not waiting for Dreamweaver 7 to come out. I mean, fuck, it's too late now. I need these
Definitely.
prefix things now. So, what's your thoughts, Jeff?
With these things, I think it's always great. Open source is awesome. The pain point is always, how does it integrate to my workflow? So I need to try this, download it onto my machine, onto my Mac, I guess.
Yep.
Again, that's a problem if it's only Mac software right now. Or I got to go look at the GitHub. It's great that it's open. Hopefully there will be more work done by the community in this area. We're just really trying to figure out how it's going to fit in with all the other existing tools, right? Because
there we
other
go.
things we found, like...
So there you can see a screenshot. See how it split open the screen, and now I'm literally adjusting the style property of this element.
Oh shit. Okay.
You see that? And so I'm not going to a different tab. I'm not opening up a different window. It
But
literally
it's
is.
in the HTML. It's not like rendered though.
So this is actually they're adjusting the desktop.css file, but it's showing up in the HTML.
Yeah. So there's, I don't know exactly how they're achieving this, if it's just reading the page and determining which files are involved and everything, but
I think that's how
usually
they're doing it.
usually the weak point for me in these sorts of tools is the integration with my existing tools, right?
Yeah.
Because again,
Yeah.
what if you don't just have a desktop.css, but it's actually baked into some PHP file
Yeah,
or,
that's true.
or
That's a
whatever,
good point.
or you get other like more complex setups that
Yeah. Yeah.
it doesn't always allow for. So
Yeah.
I'm curious what they're doing. I'll have to experiment with the actual tool myself. I wish their homepage would have sold me on the features a little bit more.
So they do have a
I kind
YouTube.
of get the idea of what it is, but I'm not sure
They
what the
They do have a
selling point
YouTube's
is.
page, and I would have liked to have seen this playlist embedded on the homepage. I kind of had to dig around a little bit to get to it. So in that regard, I think it would have been better, maybe possibly for people checking it out right away. But all right, I don't want to spend too much time on this simply because this is getting pretty technical. From a design standpoint, I'm loving the design. I really like the design of the actual code editor itself. I think they could have done a better job selling me on it. Maybe had the videos right up front and center, or an animated GIF kind of thing going on with no sound. So I give it a 4 on design. Originality, there's some original functionality in it, so I'd give it probably a 4 on the originality. I like that the fact it's written in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Survival, this is tough. It is Adobe. They're a huge company. They are open sourcing it. If they can get the community rally behind it, I think they got a shot. So I'd love to see another big corporate partner sign on. Maybe GitHub integration totally connected. Maybe Heroku for deployment, something like that. All cloud-based, everything app cloud, all these other SaaS, PaaS type, integration. So if they got a couple big company promoting them, I think it could work. Marketing-wise, same thing. So I give it a 3.
My screen is a little behind yours, but can you see my rating on the?
I don't see your ratings. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think what I wrote was, how does this fit into my workflow? And hopefully it's open source software for the win. For the survival and marketing, they need to kind of let people know why they should be using it and how it fits into their current tool set.
I completely agree. Okay, so with that, let's move on. Here we are at LifeBlog Pro. So they're in beta. We've got a big graphic in the middle, create live coverage. And there's sort of a phone connected to a laptop, looks like some sort of connection. And they've got a bunch of favicons flying off the screen, Twitter, YouTube, Vimeo, audio, SoundCloud. Okay, so LifeBlog Pro is the best tool for live blogging the news. It's fast, reliable, and easy to use. Okay. Then there's a form where I fill in my full name, email, and website, and there's a sign up. All right, so now we're getting to the features grid. So publish now. Start publishing in seconds with an instant update designed to help you report, add collaborators, create live, rich blogs. All right, so Jeff, what is this, Jeff? I'm signing on. Is this such a shared page that is real time? Is this basically like a chat interface where I can put a bunch of stuff up there and other people can log into this lobby, which is this page?
Yeah, I think you're getting the idea. I'm trying to figure out what the exact use cases are. I think it might be a fairly small set of people that can figure out how to take advantage of this tool. But,
so is this like when you're at an event, if you're covering like an Apple launch or
Yeah, so I mean, that was the only thing that came to my mind, right? Can you think of anything else like that?
You know what?
That this would be useful for?
One of the big things that I've noticed at these live events has been they put up a screen behind the actual speaker, and people in the audience, without having to put their arm up or whatever, can start writing text that gets broadcasted to this large screen that everybody else can see. So it's a way of passive sort of interaction, and I dig that a lot. And so I can definitely see how they can blow up this page, whatever this real-time page that they're building for people, as part of the event. When you're covering the event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I see they're highlighting like sporting events potentially.
Yeah. So
Like that.
where do you see that sporting events? Oh, live. Okay, Roses. Is that what this is?
Yeah, right on the homepage. Yeah.
Lancaster. Okay, looks like you're right. It's just swimming. Looks like some water polo. Archery. Yeah. No, I get that. And below that we've got Columbia Journalism Review. Okay, using a team, Columbia Journalism Review showcase coverage of a U.S. election. Okay, that's cool. This is pretty neat. I could totally see this. The use case is definitely very, very compelling. It's very niche. So let's see how they make money here. So free live publishing embedded in your live blogs and limited readers, okay? And then white label. Ooh, I like that. White labeling. So this is where they can they can probably sell this to a couple of very large sporting events, these large news organizations. and they can white label it, so they don't have to put their branding on there. It could just be Fox News or whatever, you know.
Very nice. Yeah, nice solution for people who need that
Yeah.
for big problems.
I completely agree. So I think this is a very, very clear use case. I do like their business model, so I'm going to go back and start rating them. From a design perspective, yeah, it's pretty nicely designed, very clean. Yeah, so I give it a 4. Originality, I give it a 3. Survival. They do have a couple of pretty large organizations, I think, underneath at the bottom. So I give it a 4, let's say. And marketing. I don't know how you found this, but how would they spread if they're not doing any sort of? They do have a free option. So maybe with a bunch of people blogging it and embedding it in the blog, when they have the little logo powered by, they could probably
hopefully the readers will find it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I can definitely see that. So love the concept and white labeling business model.
Yeah, hopefully these guys survive. It's not as original. I mean, or it's fairly original, but there may be other competitors real quickly showing up on the scene, like, you know, Google and Facebook may just kind of.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, well,
have these features. I don't know why. You know, I don't live, right? The only thing these guys are doing is live real time. That is the real advantage.
Right.
White labeling that for your brand is awesome if you have something
absolutely.
that you need to promote.
I completely agree.
So that's always a win. That is great. But yeah, I would like to see more of the examples, like, you know, social proof and stuff in action would be I'd like to see. But
yeah.
Other than that, these guys should be around as long as they have a couple customers.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think it's a very cool concept. You know, in fact, I'm wondering, Jeff, out loud, would this be useful for our show? Like, could we create a live blog panel, and then people that are watching? Well, actually, we don't.
Well, we kind of are through Twitter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess you're right.
You know,
Twitter would be that. Yeah.
As we're covering these startups, actually, I'm tweeting the bookmark to the pages and everything. So people that are following along on our Twitter account are essentially getting our live blog.
That's true. I never thought about it like that. It's just I have to render these things out and then upload it and all that, so it's definitely not real time. But all right, I don't want to spend too much time on that. We want to crank along today. We don't, we want to keep the show moving. Spraffle.com. The revolution will not be personalized. That's cool. They got a big banner in the middle, bright green, kind of lime green, and they've got an iPhone app that's kind of flipping different views, slideshow in there. And I'm trying to sort out what's going on here. It's got a map view, and I'm still not. Just heard that there's a flat party going on. Okay, so there's a large sort of like message or tweet, and then there's a list of tweets or messages. Okay, Jeff, I'm still this doesn't help. All right, so what does this say underneath? It says available in the App Store, coming soon in the Android, allows you to post anonymous location-based messages whenever you are in the world, wherever you are.
So I think
anyone.
I don't know, something I've been missing. Everyone, we have Twitter and Facebook, and we feel like, oh, everyone is, sending these little messages all the time and whatever.
Yep.
Well, like, what happened to, like, at one point in time, didn't people have, like, radios in their car that they could transmit from, break, like people, guys in Mack trucks have.
That's right.
But, like, people had, in their Mustangs.
Yep.
And it seems like a really cool idea.
It's a very, very cool idea, yeah.
Because then you could, talk about, like, trying to gather with your community in your neighborhood and stay local and all this stuff.
Yeah.
That radio only has a range, right, of a radius. So, a radius around you. So what I think I'm saying is missing from Twitter is a really useful location
component.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, I know they have geolocation. They've had it for a really long time, but they've never really made great use of it. I don't think, in my humble opinion.
I completely agree with you.
And this is where we go to third-party apps. We look for the other Twitter applications because they've layered on mapping and geolocation on top of Twitter, where Twitter is still. I don't think they've done that in their Twitter app, like their Twitter.com or the native iPhone app. And it leaves you really wondering what's happening in your neighborhood.
So I was going to bring up that you're absolutely right on all fronts. But the issue that I was actually going to bring up, and you addressed it right away, was this is a chicken egg problem. So what? Spraffle's got this awesome, cool idea, but who the fuck's heard of Spraffle? Except for us. This is the first time I'm hearing of it.
And not only the chicken and egg problem is magnified because it's a local thing. It's not national or global, right?
Yeah, so I could totally see these guys white labeling this functionality and selling it to like Hollywood Bowl. So we have this large
There you
concert
go.
hall here in Los Angeles called Hollywood Bowl, and I've often thought it'd be really cool to pull out my phone and see who else is sitting around me and be like, "Oh, I'm loving this," and take a photo of my teeth or whatever, just some stupid shit,
Hmm.
and basically create a local notification network that's based around an event or a concert or as mundane as Target shopping. I don't know, but yeah, I could totally see that, and that go then they're not relying on a large Twitter following. Then they can go directly to these event producers or these event halls that already have the people congregating in one
Yeah.
location, and then I could totally see that. I mean, what
And
other
there's a value add, a reason for them to download it
there's
and
a
try it at
value
that
added
point.
reason to download it. Maybe they can do giveaways or some cool way to get them on board to try it to download the app and start location messaging or whatever. Yeah, I totally can see that. On their from a design and marketing perspective, I would like to see more of that information on their homepage because it's kind of hard to
Yeah.
tell. It took me a little while to figure this out, but I would love these guys to white label it and start getting these big venues on board.
So my screen's still way behind yours, but I jumped over to the ambassadors page.
Okay.
It looks like they are doing a lot of concerted marketing efforts to try to get people on board,
Oh, they are?
to get
Okay.
to try to get the platform going. With a seed community.
Okay. Yeah, I do
I
see
don't
that.
know
You're
what
right.
you
Become
take from that. I mean,
Yeah, you're right. There's a local ambassador in your local town or city,
it says
university.
want to become an official university or college
Right.
ambassador, or become an ambassador of the place you work,
All right, so
or
just so at the
of your
very
city.
bottom it says lovingly owned and operated by Spraffle Limited, based in Scotland, UK. Now, guys, I love this idea, but honestly, I mean, the world is so massive, it's so huge that this vision is incredible. It's an amazing vision. But in order to beat the chicken and egg, I would love to have seen U.S. or U.K. and then broken down to the major metros, and then maybe some sort of regional plan or local. Where do you start, man? I mean, this is so big. This is like, I mean, they're taking on like the world, and they're taking on the real world, and location, and that's hard, man. Uh, yeah, that's a lot. You need a lot of money to
Yeah,
pump into
it is
marketing.
really hard, but I think they're doing a pretty good go at it. I think they under their about tab they have a vision statement. So
Okay. Oh, you're right.
it
They
is
do.
it is a big like you said, it's a big lofty goal, but I think they might be taking it head on.
All right.
And
Well,
who knows, what their partnerships and what their strategy really is behind the scenes?
you,
Because, like you said, you do got to figure out. You got to get a neighborhood on board, and it looks like they're getting these ambassadors going.
okay.
And,
Well, I'm
it
judging.
looks like they have an API that I haven't looked at, but I'm sure they might be able to keep it going in
I've,
some interesting way.
I've
But doing the typical consumer play will be hard.
Okay, well, I have to tell you, man. I mean, I don't mean to be, I don't want to rain on anybody's parade in this case, but I just want to warn that sometimes these massive visions, because it's so big, so wide, it's very hard to get traction unless you have a lot of money, and even with a lot of money, it's hard to get traction. So I really hope they find a way to white label this, to go after regional plays, local plays, and find some big partners and get something going, because it's an awesome idea. With that, I'm going to start rating them from a design perspective. I give it a 3. I think I would have liked to have the marketing message and maybe the features painted on the first page and easier to understand quickly. There's a lot of paragraphs. They should have bulleted that out. Originality, it's not that original. Color was trying to do this. Color raised a lot of money, and they were bought out by Apple. I could totally see Apple, a large platform guy, inserting this as part of their platform. I can see that. So originality, I give it a 2. Survival, I give it a 2. Marketing, give it a 2. Yeah, I think they've got a lot of work ahead of them in terms of trying to get this out there.
Yeah, again, like with everything, I'd like to see traction. If they can give me testimonials of it working with some of their ambassadors, say, here's an office that uses, here's a workplace that uses it, or like you said, a sporting arena or something like that would be great. But I do love the idea. I'm looking for, more geolocation apps.
So I put down, if they're going to try to hit anybody, go after music festivals. If this was part of the big
Okay.
music, the
Yeah.
big massive music festivals that happen, that could work. That'd be really awesome. There's a massive one that happens in California called Coachella. It sells out. It's fucking ridiculous how quickly it sells out. It's 3 days. I could totally see Spraffle partnering with Coachella, and then I'm part of this big mass mob, and I don't know. It could be really cool. All right, so let's move on. Here
Yeah,
we
it's
are.
very interesting.
Here we are at photomerchant.net. Websites for photographers. Cool. Very, very tight vertical. Very specific. Very easy to understand. It's not websites for cooks. It's website for photographers. I happen to
Oh,
be I'm very much into photography. I have a very expensive camera with a lot of expensive lenses. So I am a perfect
okay.
use case for this. Um,
Yeah.
so let's see here. We've got a video, a big call to action. Start your free trial. Create your own dedicated
So
photography
yeah.
website. Portfolio in less than 10 minutes. Everything you need. Okay, there's a lot of people that are amateur photographers that want to get into more serious prosumer photography.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what do you think of this? Let me ask you, you're the perfect target audience for this, maybe?
Yeah.
The person who has spent a bunch of money on a camera for pleasure,
Yeah.
mainly, right? For fun.
Mm,
You're kind of pro amateur camera shooters, right?
I actually have a professional camera. I've got a Canon
Okay.
5D for anybody who gives a shit, and it's.
But you're not, are you using it professionally in your
I
day
have
job?
used it professionally. I have gotten paid for photo shoots before and for video
Okay.
shoots, and so
Okay.
it's a easy $3,000 to $4,000 investment.
Hmm.
That's not even with a lot of lenses, so it can get pretty
Right.
pricey, and not even the lighting equipment, which I tend to rent. But for
Okay, so you
me,
might be more on the pro side, but
So for me, I'm also happen to be into web design and web development, so I'm probably not the ideal use case. But for other photographer buddies of mine, I know they've looked at photo hosting or photo website type stuff, and there are a lot of them out there. So there's a big market for it. I think it's fairly saturated though, but there's a lot of or prosumer people want to get into this. And there's a ton of those out there, so there'll always be some guy. Hey, I got a nice camera. Let me open up my photography website. Uh,
yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I think there's a huge market of those
yeah,
people
yeah.
that, spend more than they should on a camera,
Hmm.
don't use it enough,
Right.
but probably could,
Yeah.
or maybe they do have these great photos, but they're not, they're just not connected with the community and marketplace to maybe make a few dollars off of them.
Yeah. So to that regard, looks like they've got some digital downloads, some templating. The templates look pretty nice from this Square. Order fulfillment, image protection, SEO. Blah blah blah. Okay, yeah. So I'm seeing it. It looks like it's got some of the main things that you need. Let's check out their pricing. Um, Here we go. $9 a month. I've seen a lot of them tend to be in the 15 to 20, and looks like they're
Yep.
right around that same. Yep, right around that same sort of. Okay, so if you really want my critical opinion on this, in my humble opinion, I'm not too terribly thrilled with the design. It's a bit sort of, for the lack of a better word, it's a bit boring. As a photographer, I'd probably like to see bigger images, more guys in the field shooting. It feels a little bit templated, in my opinion. But I tend to be a snob in that regards. There's a lot of prosumer photographers out there that I could totally see using this service. The question is, are they getting the organic traffic? Are they ranking for these keywords? What's their search traffic costing them? What's their conversion rates? Who knows what they are? But it is a fairly easy to build startup, and a very tight niche. So I could totally see them building that up. And then once they got a certain number of customers, they probably won't. It's just like the gym. Once you join, you use it for a few months, and then you stop going, and then you feel bad, and then you use it again, and I don't know what their churn rate is, but I assume it's probably not that bad. They probably, these guys probably pay for several months easy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you have great photos, if you might already be using something like Flickr or whatever, but this is probably a better way to feature your great work. If you're at all serious about it,
Right.
I'm sure it's worth a few dollars a month.
Yeah, and
Well,
so
$10 is a little expensive,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah.
again, but it's really not. I mean, I really do like the idea of getting what I pay for with these web services, and if you have photos that you want to feature and feel, this is my great work,
Yeah.
I think that's nothing.
I'll have to tell you, bro. I'm looking down
It's a small
here.
price.
So it's free. It's $9 but they don't let you use it on your own domain. So that's a little bit high in my
Ah,
opinion. I would have I
interesting.
would have
Okay, yeah,
paid maybe
maybe for
6 or
the offer.
7, but I'm cheapskate that way. I've seen many other even nicer looking ones, in my humble opinion, that charge less. So, but if they're doing well and if their traffic is converting, then more power to them. It's a great little
It looks
business.
like these guys are out of Australia,
Oh, are
I
they?
think,
Okay.
from the footer.
Okay.
But we wish these guys luck,
Yeah.
and hopefully, I'm sure this is useful for a lot of
It,
people.
it definitely is. So I'm looking down here, and they're proud members of some organizations. So if they can get a couple of these organizations behind them and help them promote it, and then build some sort of email sequence to get people sign up, and then moving them to a premium plan, then I could totally see that working. So all right, so from a design standpoint, it's okay. I give it a 2. Originality, definitely 2. Survival. There's a lot of competition in this space. I give it a 2. Marketing, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, so I give it a 2. Words of wisdom. How are you different? Uh, Upgrade to a more image-based uh, design. Yeah. So there,
Yeah, I want more examples,
yeah,
like always.
yeah, and more of their templates. I would like to see more of their templates and see how get me excited. I'm not seeing that right now. So all right, let's move on. Winna themes.
Yeah, so this is another one that I posted that may not be terribly interesting, but it's definitely in the area of web development. Maybe not a huge startup play,
Okay.
but a aggregate website it looks like for premium WordPress themes as well as what's it say? Uh,
All right.
Joomla, Drupal, Magento, and more.
Yeah. So these different
So,
platforms. So it looks like we've got
so,
a.
so this is kind of a question for you. What do you think about the theme
Okay.
marketplace?
Well, just generally speaking, WordPress, the platform itself, has exploded the last couple of years. It's been a tremendous growth. These guys are killing it right now. And if unfortunately, when it did explode, the themes were really boring and they all kind of looked the same. And so the guys that really carved their niches out and created something really nice and useful became millionaires. It's awesome. But now I think it's pretty saturated. I don't know if these guys can compete. It's really saturated right now.
Hmm.
And judging from just what I'm seeing from these themes, they look kind of they look nice, but they don't look that different to me. I might have to browse to take a look at some more. But really,
Yeah, so
honest.
I haven't been a consumer in this marketplace myself, but
Mhm.
it looks like what they're offering here is a kind of an aggregate marketplace.
Yeah, and I can see that.
I'm not sure though.
This is a great idea. I mean, forget about being another theme seller. Why not just aggregate all these theme sellers and make money off the affiliate revenue? And so I can totally see that. Again, as with everything, you got to build a market. You got to get people to come to your site, and I don't know what their search volume, their search traffic is getting, and how much those costs are if they're doing media buys or cost per click or whatever their traffic method is. But I'm looking here, 14 buy clicks, 15 buy clicks. So I mean, they are selling. These could be fake. Who knows if it's real or not? But they are moving some product here. 11.4 is not a big number, but they are moving. They are selling, and so for that, maybe it's just starting out. And as I'm hovering over, I have to
I
say,
like the hover. It's a nice design,
yeah, I
man.
have to say, the design for the hover is cool, but the rest of the design is a bit too strong in my opinion. The color schemes need work, but the layout, but the designs do look pretty cool. The themes that they are curating to be sold here are really interesting looking designs. So from that perspective, they are definitely doing a good job of not overwhelming me with a lot of the same old, same old.
Well, this is cool. Do you see they have filters too? You can search by color or
I
layout
did see
type
that.
or
Yeah, yeah.
design.
So this is pretty neat. Yeah,
Yeah.
wow. This is pretty
So
cool.
it looks like they do. There is some value in the aggregation and searching tool.
I have to say that they have a lot of facets here for me to navigate through, and this pattern really works really well when you have a huge data set. Now, I picked beige and only one came up, so I don't know how many actual templates they have in there. In their.
Yeah, well, so maybe I'm wrong in my assumption they're aggregating. Are these all directly selling through this website,
No,
and they just happen to have templates for all these different
actually, I think no,
formats?
no. I think
Magento,
they are
Drupal.
aggregating. I think your initial idea, it is right. They are aggregating. It's just I'm just concerned when you have some overly filtery mechanism like this, and the facets they call it. You need a large data set to navigate because then it makes sense to break it all down this way. But I only use one, and I pulled a beige and only one came up. But anyways, I don't want to linger too long on this. From a design standpoint, I give it a 2. Yeah, I still need some work. Originality, not terribly original. Survival, I don't know. I give it a 2 and 2 on marketing. I'd like to see maybe some more partners if they're connected to Smashing Magazine or some of these larger portals. Maybe then I could see a play. I don't know if they're driving content using some information graphics. So yeah, that's
Yeah, looks like a helpful website. Hopefully they get people going there. I wonder how sticky it is, if it's useful enough to survive.
very competitive. Okay,
So I think that's about all the time we have for startups. I did want to ask you one question. There was
Sure.
something in the news that
Okay.
we wanted to talk about. My screen, I still can't see yours on Skype.
Is it the
but,
Chromebook thing?
But yeah, just pull up your new tab on
Yeah.
Chrome, or that screenshot I sent you. Somebody had mentioned it. So this is something that I love to talk about that I noticed actually, I want to say it was like 2 Christmases ago. So I'm a huge fan of the Chrome web browser as a web developer, an engineer. It's just awesome, right? Google caught us by surprise, blessed us with this software one day. And I really haven't even looked back to Firefox, sorry guys,
Right.
at Mozilla since, because Firefox had gotten a little bit bloated and heavy, and Chrome is just purely about speed and just kind of saves me, cycles through the day. And so with that said, it's a very slim, clean product that we all love and use every day. The search bar the location bar is integrated with the search. That's great. And then the other main or big change over the previous web browsers was this new tab, right? When you open up the new tab,
Yeah.
Firefox, I don't think really, or Internet Explorer, no one really had that. I think they they probably straight took it from Opera, maybe. I think Opera had a dial
Yep.
interface. But we've all found that really useful, right? It's kind of auto bookmarks your favorite sites and whatnot. So back to the story.
Yeah, back to the story.
About two years ago, I am in Chrome and I open the new tab around Christmas. I think it was like Thanksgiving. And lo and behold, right above all my favorite sites is a little 1-line advertisement for the Chromebook.
Yep.
And I went, oh, wow. I didn't know that they could put advertisements
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Is what goes through my mind, right? As being in the industry.
Okay, so
and,
it got your attention.
technical.
It got your attention.
I noticed immediately, yeah. Although it was just a simple text advertisement like Google, does on .com.
Were you interested
And
in whatever offer was presented to you?
Not really.
Okay, so
no.
was it relevant to you?
Well, yeah, it was.
It was
I
relevant
mean,
to you. Okay.
Yeah, it was, but at the end of the, ultimately I didn't care.
Okay,
I mean,
but you
the,
were
the Chromebooks aren't, they were kind of. I mean, this was a couple of years ago.
So did you feel
Piece of junk.
positive or negative towards it? What's your general
Negative?
feeling?
Definitely negative. So actually, what happened? The reason I love to tell this story and talk about it, and it's coming back into the news, is because this is actually, I'm such an avid Chrome fan for the technology and the speed, but knowing that Google has got their hands and their paws right on my new tab, so you can change where the search goes, so it doesn't go to Google. You can use Bing, you can use DuckDuckGo, but when you pop open that new tab, the fact that Google can put an ad there and they're choosing not to is a big red flag for me, because that means that someday they're just gonna throw up some YouTube ads or something. And I'm not to mention, what could they be listening to? Does that mean every time I open a new tab that they're sending a message to Google?
Okay, so these are all really important points. So you're concerned about privacy, right?
Yes.
Second, you're concerned about where else is this going to go? This is now their space. This isn't really my browser anymore. This is really their browser.
So in other words, it's a billboard. It's just a white blank billboard that you don't know is a billboard yet.
Yeah, yeah. And so
it's a bait and switch opportunity.
Okay, so when I saw it, I thought, at first I was surprised. It got my attention, and advertising attention is everything. You got to interrupt people. As much as people don't like to be interrupted, sometimes you need to kind of get into their workspace, their workflow, in order to send your message. And from a marketing perspective, it's a great idea from a marketing and advertising perspective, it's awesome. Now, from a perspective of a user, from a customer, yeah, it can be annoying if you're not used to it, and it can be even more annoying if it's not relevant. But if it's relevant,
Right.
and I just went to Kayak, and I maybe a couple of days ago I went and shopped for a fucking pair of pants or something, and it was Dockers. It gets creepy, but it is relevant. Now the trick is, the more you bring relevance in, the more happier people tend to be if they have to look at ads, because at least it's relevant. Obviously, none of this stuff is free. Chrome is a great browser, and we switched from Firefox to Chrome for a reason. And it requires engineers to be on top of this shit, and these guys charge a lot of money for their time. So the question to you, Jeff, is...
Wait, are you implying that this is how they're paying for the development of Chrome?
I'm not implying anything.
Okay.
I'm just saying this is Google is a profit-driven enterprise, and market forces and capitalism works because it pushes everybody to compete against each other. So we start getting features sooner, and that some of these features, comes at a cost, and this cost is advertising, right? And we have a better browser for it. I mean, forget about this particular thing happening, that they're using this as a billboard. Fundamentally, it trickles down to that single fact that these products are supported by this.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so
let me though quickly jump back to finish off my rant. What I've done is I've switched to Chromium. There's other browsers that use the same technology that retain, you basically get rid of the Google branding. Because it's an open source project. You don't need the Google branding on there. You don't need it to, have Google telling you the final say on some of the things like this. There's a couple other things that really get... Well, so let me actually, about the marketing and the advertising, I actually have a huge distaste for the particular place they put this advertisement.
Okay.
Because as opposed... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could put it other places, but when you mention they're interjecting it right in front of you. Yeah. So for me, when you get to this page, you just hit new tab, right? Right. What are you trying? What are your intentions at that point?
Well, it's
your
more than
intentions are already set to go somewhere, right?
Right.
You came to this new tab to open up Facebook, to open up Gmail, to go find a location on a map, to visit a website, to do a Google search. Yeah. You did not come here to get distracted. Yeah. You came to this page as a launching pad for your destination. Yep. So, they're really disrupting your thought process and your natural flow of trying to get something done here. Right. And that kind of bothers me.
Okay, so
I think there's other ways that it could be done.
Yep.
So that's just my particular take on that.
And you bring up a very good point. Marketing people and advertising people, especially back in the day, were using this thing called interruption. We're interrupting. Now the new thinking is not to interrupt, but to enhance. So if you can figure out a way to enhance what a person is doing instead of interrupting them by giving them something useful, like a useful tool as they're searching, and then
So let me just say, that's what Google's always said their intentions are with everything, including Chrome. I would imagine is just to get more people using the internet, because the more people using the internet, the more money Google makes, almost period, right? Because they're such a fundamental part of the internet. Everyone going when you said intentions. That's what AdWords are, right? Yep. Is they're selling ads based on intentions. When I then, so I come to the new tab, then I Google for Dockers, then sell me Dockers. Yep. Don't sell me Dockers when I'm trying to go, reply to an email.
That's a very good
or
point.
Pull up a document.
In this case, I can learn about the Chromebook, the $249 laptop from Google for everyone. Now, am I in the market for a Chromebook? No, I'm not. So yes,
but you're a Chrome user,
I
guess that's what they're figuring.
Okay, that's true. I am a Chrome user, so maybe you can probably make the argument that maybe I'd be possibly a good user for Chromebook. But you're absolutely right. This isn't really enhancing my opening up a new tab to go to a new site at all. This really is not. They don't even know which site I'm going to. They don't even know why I'm opening up a new tab. So it's not at all relevant. So yeah.
To me, that's just the critical moment when I'm trying to get stuff done. So the other extreme of what Chrome has decided for you is you cannot pick what comes up on that new tab. We're almost getting into the territory of Twitter trying to regain control of how their content is consumed. You know, normally in a browser you could set your homepage.
Yep.
I think they still have that, like a home button, but no one, that should replace the tab. And so that's another pet peeve I have, where I've actually had to, I think I got you to install it even for our project, because I've created with my house.js project web operating system metaphor that is my desktop. Yeah. So when I open up a new tab, I want to go there. I don't want to go here and get distracted by Google. And so they don't even actually have that option in the browser. So I had to download an extension that just does that one simple thing. And it's just a little bit frustrating that Google is really trying to keep you from doing that.
Well, with that, Jeff, this is a very long rant. There are many sides to this.
Yeah, end of rant. We really want to hear what you guys think, though.
There are many sides to this.
Our audience
there are many
chime
perspectives. There are necessary evils, so to speak, with this. This is an evolving marketplace. So, yeah, I think we can cut the show at this point. I'd like to leave with more bleepy sounds.
Yeah, crank it up. Yeah, it's good, man.
I got the happy ball, so this may have crashed. There we go. No, it didn't. And then I'd also like to leave with us saying something. Did you get that?
Yeah. I can't quite hear all the audio coming back, but...
Okay, let's just do it without the vocoder. Smoking hot coffee. Yeah, so thank you for watching Smoking Hot Coffee, and the robots want to thank you. And the humans want to thank you. Smoking hot coffee. And the robots want to thank you.
There we go.
Okay, yeah, this is getting really annoying by now.
No, this is awesome. Hopefully you guys enjoy seeing some of the behind the scenes. We'll try to keep it a little bit tighter as we continue going forward, but looking forward to doing this again tomorrow.
Yep, I'll talk to you then.